Hi, and welcome to my Substack. Uh, I am preparing, as so many of us are, preparing for Shavuot, which is when we receive the Torah at Sinai. The tradition tells us that each of us, all Jews, past, present, and future, uh, receive the Torah together. So before I forget, see you at Sinai in a couple days. I'll be the one standing over by the rock, and I'm sure I'll see you there. Naturally on Shavuot, as we talk about the giving of the Ten Commandments too, as part of the Shavuot celebration. And I had always noticed that there was a difference in translation between some of the non-Jewish communities, how they translate the sixth commandment, which in Hebrew is "Thou shalt not murder," and how that is often translated in non-Jewish communities as "Thou shalt not kill." So get prepared, sit down, strap in. We're going into the weeds a little bit, which is one of my favorite things to do, about the Ten Commandments and how the text itself is actually renumbered in different faith communities. Now, let me say at the outset that I have the greatest respect, and in no way am I denigrating or defaming other faith communities and how they deal with our text. But this is what I found out, and I just found it really cool. So, um, primarily the Catholic Church uh, doesn't number the 10 commandments or the 10 utterances, if we want to get picky, and which we are, the same way. And you think, how could you number them differently? So Jews and many other Christian communities, the Episcopalians, for example, also number it the way we do, which is that the first commandment is, and I'm checking the text here. First commandment, of course, is I am Adonai your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, house of bondage. You shall have no other gods besides me. So that's we count that as the first commandment. It's kind of intro. Hi, I'm God. Remember me. I'm the one who brought you out of Egypt. Now it says here that in verse 3 that it says we don't have acharim al panai. We don't have other gods, okay? From the word acher. The Catholic community translates that word as strange gods before me. But that's not the Hebrew. It's the way they've translated it as strange gods. As we move on to the second one, that's the really long paragraph that's you shall not make for yourself a sculptured image or any likeness. You shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I am an impassioned God visiting the guilt, etc., etc., etc. That's our second commandment, but that's not how the Catholic Church sees it. So what they did is for the first commandment, they combined the two. So as I'm the Lord your God, you should not have any strange gods before me, and then kind of don't pay attention to or don't include verses 4 to 6, which I just alluded to. And from then on, because they don't have that, 3 for them is don't take, or the second commandment is taking God's name in vain. The third commandment is about Shabbat. The fourth commandment is about father and mother, and the fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth go from there. And again. So how do you come up with 10? They had to come up with 10. So what they did was split the 10th commandment, the ninth and 10th, which is don't covet. And in our tradition, it is you shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, male, female, slave, et cetera, anything that is your neighbor's. Well, what the Catholic Church did is split those into two so that their ninth commandment is don't covet your neighbor's wife. And then the 10th commandment is don't covet the rest of the stuff. Well, I thought that was very interesting. And if you want to just turn it off right now, carry on. But I just found it fascinating because everybody's, when we're talking about theology and how we view this text, we know that the rabbis will go into the weeds forever to look at text the way they see it, to have it match certain societal or cultural awarenesses and acknowledgments. We see that with Leviticus, of course, in homosexuality. We see that the rabbis, up till today and forever on, will be dealing with these kinds of delving into the text and seeing what they can find out of it that keeps it relevant and important. I just found it fascinating that there's actually a different numbering system within the Catholic Church. I thought that was incredible. And they did answer the issue of the graven images and not bowing down to them when there are images of, in their theology, of Jesus and of Mary and of the other saints. And so how they dealt with that, what had to do with the difference between praying to something as if it were a god, and having that image honor something. And there's no problem praying to that image of Jesus on the cross, because in their theology, that's one and the same of God. So, one priest explained it to me as saying there's a difference between, like, I can have a picture of my mother on my bedside, but that doesn't mean I'm praying to her, and praying to her as if she were a god. No, she's just a reminder of who she was to me. Okay. Anyway, what we do with all this, you can have this at your next party and sitting around and talking about this. Ultimately, when we all gather at Sinai this week, in another day or so, remember the Jewish tradition says that we were all at Sinai, past, in the Jews of the past, the present, and the future. And I will see you there, because I will be at Sinai, as will you. I'll be the one behind the rock. We can wave. And ultimately, this event of receiving Torah is an astonishing example, literary, theological, mass communal event that happened to, hundreds of thousands of people at the same time. Whether or not you believe that Moses came down from the mountain with the tablets, that's what it says in the Torah. That's what I choose to believe. But understand too that something happened there. Something happened that was so remarkable, so amazing, that the story of it keeps getting told today. And understanding the power of that event is what keeps us as Jews together. It's what keeps us united around this piece, this body of work, these words, this text that is constantly, giving us reason to look into it and go deeper into it and go deeper into it. And that is the thing that not just rabbis, have fun doing, going into the weeds and looking at different commentaries and seeing how things are interpreted. But that imperative for Jewish learning, and in my opinion, especially adult Jewish learning, is what keeps us together as a people. No matter what your theology is, something happened at that moment. And what happened there unites us. The Torah is an endless source of difficult texts and joyous texts and fabulous stories and amazing characters who have wonderful stories to tell. And we move into Tanakh, and there are more wonderful stories to tell and more characters. Each of these things is such a joy to dig into, that even digging into other faith communities' interpretation of our texts was fascinating, and for me, lots of fun. So I wish you all a very happy Shabbat and a very happy Shavuot. I will see you at Sinai. It's been a joy to see you there every year, and I look forward to seeing you again there. Pick up some Torah. It's your book. It's my book. It's our book. Pick it up, read it, find some commentary that interests you. Good heavens, there's just so much in it. It's an endless source. So enjoy. Shabbat Shalom. Chag Sameach. See you at Sinai.